Here we are. Okay, good morning. I want to welcome everyone to the first hearing and meeting of the Maryland Baltimore City Senate delegation. I'll do our roll call. We have Senator Attar,
Here.
Senator Antonio Hayes,
Here.
Senator Corey McCray.
Here.
Okay, great. So with the majority of members present, we'll start the meeting. First, we just have a little bit of news with the chair report that every Friday we will have our hearings. Our hearings will be conducted via Zoom and potentially as needed. Voting sessions will be held in person on Monday afternoons. Except for if there are emergency situations where we'll have our meeting or our voting immediately. Have some news that Delegate Robin Lewis has been elected the new chair of the Baltimore City House delegation. And so she and I will be coordinating. We met yesterday to talk about if there are briefings that they're having that we want to share in via Zoom. If there are bills where we think it would be worthwhile for the entire delegation to hear, that works out well, especially since they do theirs via Zoom and we do ours via Zoom. They start at 9, we start at 8:45-ish, so it should work out. A issue that will probably be coming up next week, we will have a presentation or a hearing on the bond authorizations. The city administration is looking for authorization for 4 bonds to be approved by the delegation so that they would eventually be put on the ballot by the city during the election. So we will discuss that during our next hearing next week. And members will distribute what we've received from the city, as well as we have some PowerPoints, and we will have a number of questions for the administration regarding those. Our briefing schedule, we are currently planning to have a meeting with the State Board of Elections Administrator, Jared Damaris, as well as the new Baltimore City administrator. And I thank Senator Hayes for pointing me in the direction and making the recommendation that we have that meeting. We don't have any old business, so Senator Hayes will jump right I'm sorry, meant to introduce to the viewing public, because you don't know that our committee counsel is Kaylee Cannon for the Department of Legislative Services, and our coordinator for our Baltimore City Senate delegation is Elijah Clark, and you'll see him there. Okay, Senator Hayes, please, we'll begin our hearing for Baltimore City Senate Bill 17. This is an emergency piece of legislation, alcohol beverages related event promoters permit. Senator Hayes.
Indeed. Good morning. Thank you, Madam Chair. Colleagues, yesterday, Senate Finance Committee heard Senate Bill 17. Senate Bill 17 is an emergency piece of legislation, and I'll tell you why it's important. So it's an alcohol bill that essentially is tied to CIAA. CIAA is the oldest African-American collegiate conference basketball in the NCAA. A couple of years ago, we were successfully able to attract the CIAA conference to Baltimore City, attracting thousands of people, generating about 109 million of economic impact. One of the things that we've done when it was in Charlotte, one of the complaints from the conference was that the promoters and party goers raised more money than the actual conference in a basketball game. The basketball game in a conference is meant to raise scholarship money for the students at these 13 HBCUs. And so, but everybody else was making money instead of the conference. One of the things that was attractive to Baltimore was that this body, the General Assembly, including this delegation, unanimously passed legislation to add on to the alcoholic beverage code a special permit for events that's held during CIAA weekend. What does that do? One, it provides a additional revenue that could go to the scholarships for the 13 historically Black colleges and universities. Secondly, what it does, it helps the city and all of its city services better plan for events. It alerts our liquor board so they could be fully staffed and knowing how many events are going on efficiently around the city. It alerts the police, fire, and all of the other city services that help support the things that's going on in the city. The bill, the authority actually expired June 30th of 2025 at the end of last fiscal year. The conference is next month. And so, in order to put this back in place in time for the conference and have the liquor board and everybody to notify all of the licensees, we made this an emergency piece of legislation so they could get it in place, have the authority from the state of Maryland, so they could then notify all the business owners or whatever. Like I said, Senate Finance had a hearing yesterday. If all goes well here in delegation and we take a positive vote, we'll vote on it on Tuesday. And the same is happening with our House colleagues as well. They are advancing the bill today in delegation and hopefully in a standing committee sometime next week.
Great, great. Thank you. And so you have two people as witnesses. We have our director of the Baltimore City Liquor Board, Michelle Wurzberger. Tell us who you have with you, and then also please take whatever time you need to explain the bill.
Good morning. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the delegation. For the record, my name is Michelle Wurzberger. I'm the Deputy Executive Secretary of the Baltimore City Liquor Board. Thank you for allowing us to be here to express
I gave you a promotion, sorry.
What'd you say?
I gave you a promotion. I called you the director. Sorry.
I am just the deputy. I'm just here for that. We are very excited to support Senator Hayes and visit Baltimore in moving this legislation. You all should have a copy of our written testimony. So I'm not going to belabor the point, but I do want to say that we're in favor of this legislation because it establishes a mechanism by which our liquor licensees, most of whom are small businesses, can capitalize on the excitement and the interest in the CIAA games while also providing us with notice so that we can staff appropriately during those times. And so I stand ready to answer any questions you may have. I do have Matt Ockheimer, who's our community liaison, if you have any questions in that realm. I also have our new Chief Inspector, David McGinnis, in case you have any questions about enforcement. And with that, I will stop talking.
Okay, great. And now, Senator Hayes, we want to hear from Mr. Swinton, the Director of Visit Baltimore. We do have the public listening as well. So just you could give a little more context about where this fits in and the importance to the city as a whole, and why we're taking this action and why we're moving so quickly.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, Chair Washington and members of the Baltimore City Senate delegation. For the record, my name is Kareem Swinton. I'm the interim president and CEO of Visit Baltimore. I'm here today in support of Senate Bill 17, which is the Baltimore City Alcoholic Beverages Related Events Promoters Permit. I also want to express my sincere gratitude to this bill sponsor, Senator Hayes, for his leadership and partnership on this important legislation. Honestly, Senate Bill 17 extends the CIAA Related Events Promoters Permit, which has been in law since 2019. So this is a major tournament that has major success, not only for student athletes and for coaches, but also for Baltimore and our neighborhoods, our businesses, and our workforce. So since bringing the CIAA tournament to Baltimore, as Senator Hayes mentioned, it's generated over $100 million in economic impact for the region, and also supported $10 million in state and local tax revenue. In 2025 alone, the tournament generated $27.4 million in total economic impact, including more than $15 million in direct spending, which I think is very important. That supports local hotels, restaurants, retail, transportation, and small businesses across the city. The permitting process is very important to the CIAA commissioner, the CIAA itself, and the presidents of these universities because it supports safe, well-coordinated events that take place and helps protect the CIAA brand and the attendee experience. So it really strengthens Baltimore's ability to remain competitive with other destinations because other people do seek to host CIAA, and we don't ever want to let it go. So for us, continuing to host a major event like this and bring economic impact and community is really a huge benefit to us. So the version of this bill remains effective through June 30th, 2029, which aligns with the final year of the CIAA's current contract in Baltimore. So for these reasons, I respectfully ask you to support a favorable report on Senate Bill 17. Thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you so much. Do any members have any questions or motions?
I apologize. Madam Chair, would you mind if CEO Swinton introduced this team that's with us this morning?
That would be great.
My
You're so
apologies, Chair.
invited.
Yes, Mia Blom is actually on the call as well. Mia Blom is with Visit Baltimore. She's our Director of Government Affairs.
Yeah. So we hear from Mia quite frequently.
Yes.
Yeah, I imagine. We were having a conversation before you jumped on, Senator Hayes. Thank you
Senator
very
Hayes,
much.
anything else you'd like to add to the conversation?
No, ma'am, but it sounded like you were ready to entertain the motion. If that's the case, I'd like to move that this Baltimore City Senate delegation move favorable on Senate Bill 17.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. So moved. All in favor of Senate Bill, emergency Senate Bill 17, Baltimore City Alcohol Beverages Related Promoters Event Permit, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, everyone present's here. I'm going to leave the voting open, which we're able to do temporarily so that if the other members want to be able to vote, we'll keep the vote open until about 9:30 today. That is our business for today. Our next meeting will be next Friday. As I said, we will hear from the city. Nina, if you're on, if you have anything you want to tell us, what we can expect about, what the bond bill authorizations are and what we should expect.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. So next Friday, we'll have members of the Department of Planning presenting the bond authorizations that must be approved by the House and Senate delegations before they go to the City Council, before they then go to the voters on the ballot in November. And so every 2 years, there's a series of authorizations which set the upper limits for a few different categories of bonds that the city uses to fund capital investments across the city. And so you'll have a presentation from the Department of Planning, and they'll be able to also present some information concerning investments that the city has been able to make based off of previous authorizations.
Could you share with the public and members, interested members, they're basically 4 categories of bonds, meaning investment areas. What are those?
Sure. Just give me one moment. So there are 4 categories that we authorize every 2 years. So there are some school-related bonds. Sorry, I don't have these pulled up in the moment. So the 4 categories are affordable housing, community and economic development, public infrastructure, and schools. And there are a number of subcategories within each of those where the city will be orienting that funding over the next couple of fiscal years. And due to the timing of when the voters are able to approve those authorizations, what will be approved in November will be for fiscal years 28 and 29, because we'll already be in fiscal 27 during the election period.
Great. Thank you for that bit of information and educational opportunity. Are there any other announcements?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
I don't know if Nina has an update, but we're expecting a significant amount of snow this weekend. If you have any information that we could share with our constituents and those who are listening about this upcoming snowstorm, and any phone numbers that they should keep in mind if they have any difficulties, that might be helpful.
Great idea.
Sure. Thank you again. So the mayor will be holding a press conference at 12 p.m. today to provide some updates on the storm. We'll provide updates on expected snowfall amounts and additional precautions that residents should be taking. Additionally, any resident should use 311 as their primary resource in order to report power outages, issues with snowfall on your street, or any other issues that are experienced. And we'll have members of the mayor's cabinet, as well as emergency operations and DOT in the emergency operations center throughout the weekend to make sure that those 311 requests are responded to and properly elevated as needed.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Again, any questions for the good of the order? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam Chair, you run a very efficient meeting. I move to adjourn.
Second.
So moved. All right, everyone, we'll see you next week. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.